Hello and welcome to Table of Geequals, episode 22. Spoiler alert, no bitching. And I am your host, PigMonkey.
I'm your other host, Alex.
And with us today we have Gavin Carruthers.
Hello.
And Bill Roach.
Hello there.
And how have you been this last week?
Tired, busy, but excited. Geeks versus Nerds.
Yeah, it's back.
That
We're down at Hell's Kitchen in the Marquee, and it was an amazing event last night. That was insane. We had a lot of people in there. There was really good food. I don't know if you've ever had the pizza at that place, but it's amazing. They make it fresh and
put bacon on it.
Yeah, and put bacon on it. I when we were going there, I talked to the kitchen manager, and I said, okay, now, if you want to make money, whatever you are making, put a lot of bacon on it. And my audience will thank you for it by buying it all. And I was right. By the time we were done the first show of that night, they were sold out of food because everything was covered with bacon. It really is the candy of meat.
That is an interesting way to measure success. The bacon was gone before the evening was over. Success.
I'm honestly surprised I made it to halfway.
Yeah. Well, you left before the second show, but in the second show, Stephen Heisler said, I just wish to, right at the very beginning, I just wish to test a hypothesis here. Bacon. And the crowd goes nuts, right? A really fun night, definitely.
It was great, and the energy was great. It was packed.
But still enough places that there was more people could have been.
There was tons of room in the back.
Yep.
But that's where I was for the first show. It was just fantastic to see so many people out enjoying the show and supporting the fifth season.
Can I ask a quick question? Is that...
It'll be fine.
Okay.
I probably have it blocked quite... It'll be behind my body. That's why I keep trying... Let me bring this mic down a little bit. My body will knock a lot of that sound out.
Okay.
It's very low end.
Bill, you were saying that you were reading Saga.
Yes, that is...
Is it Saga or is it Sega, first of all?
Well, Sega is a Nintendo, or is a video game company.
Sure.
That's why I go. I'm with you. That's why I go with Saga, because Sega. I get that.
Sega
you get the commercial
is
in your head.
SEGA.
Yeah.
Saga is SAGA.
No. So we'll go with Saga. But yes, since last we spoke, I've read Saga. The first two trades, blown away. I'm not the first person to say this, obviously, but
I still haven't read it, even though
I'll
lend it to you. It's
different. It's just so different.
Well,
it's
I hear it's like
it's
Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
meets Romeo and Juliet.
I'll give you the Romeo and Juliet. Star Wars for sure. I mean, it's got this swashbuckling. It's got all the different levels of...
Every time... And
everything can be...
Well, for me, the craziest thing about reading it was Fiona Staples' art. The story was amazing.
Yes.
But every couple of pages, you'd be kind of falling back into the groove. Okay, I'm getting used... You turn another page and holy shit, what is that? Just crazy shit.
But it's also beautiful. Can't... It's so weird to have a crush on the main female character in this book, but the way that she draws her, she's just absolutely gorgeous. She's got a real amazing understanding of this very athletic kind of volleyball player bodied character, and she's just fantastic. And then Bryan Cave, he writes dialogue like nobody else, right? It's so snappy to read, and just the layout of she must be lettering herself too, because one of the characters kind of talks in a thought bubble idea, and just the way that she's decided to use the lettering and the panels and stuff, it's completely different. We're going to see a lot of books that look like Saga in 2 years' time. You know what I mean? A lot of people are now making books because of what they saw in Saga. That's my prediction.
I go back to just these strange characters you see. There's a hooker planet where the first thing you see are two giant, ridiculously made up faces just attached to their legs.
Yeah.
And
Or there's the royalty dressed like Victorian era clothing and stuff, but their heads are TV monitors.
Yeah.
So, and nobody mentions it. That's just what the royalty looks like. They're from this planet.
Prince Robot the Fourth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Baron Robot the Eighth.
No, they're really nailing it. Have you read any of his other work?
Bryan Cave.
Yes.
Oh, yes, for sure. Why the Last Man?
Of course.
Runaways is one of my favorite books of all time. Love Bryan Cave. Pride of Baghdad. All that stuff.
Pride of Baghdad. It was a great read, but I don't know if I could face reading it again.
Well, I think the same thing about Why the Last Man. I've been thinking about going back to that, and we're allowed spoilers on this?
It's part of her modus operandi.
Exactly. I keep thinking about going back to it, but I keep thinking about Ampersand dying at the end of the story.
Yeah, there's never a good way to kill a monkey.
I don't want to get back to that. So, but yes, love Bryan Cave for years.
As a general rule, he's one of my favorites because he does write very snappy dialogue.
Yeah.
So you've read Runaways.
Loved it.
Gavin, you've read Runaways. Do you not feel a lot of Runaways in particular in this book? Like, I really felt
in Saga.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it's a lot of the same.
I was gonna say Star Wars and Runaways, like just the feel of it.
A lot of the same themes being explored from different.
Especially the ghost children.
Yes.
I can't remember her name. The one who sticks with them.
Yeah.
Ileana or something like that, or Olivia or something.
She really reminded me of. Anyway. It's a really fun book.
Yeah, it is a fun book. I'm not sure if I see the Runaways too much in that.
Okay.
Maybe I haven't thought of that though. I was just so engrossed in Saga. I went to work the next day. I finished the two books, the first two trades, in one night, and went to work the next day with them in my bag. It's like, who can I lend this to? Right? I'm telling people at work, about this stuff, and they're like, the hell are you talking about? Nobody cares around me.
It also had
you guys have to read this.
It also had the advantage of having a lot of controversy around it. Both the first issue with the breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's exploitive. Okay, I remember comics in the 90s. They were
don't
worse.
Don't they have to be human, first of all, to be exploitive? And
well, I would argue anything drawn by Liefeld isn't human.
Yeah, good point.
Okay,
nothing can stand on those feet. You're right.
What?
These weak ankles, they do nothing.
I don't know where she's keeping her organs, but they're not in her abdomen.
No, they all go up to her breasts.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize there was that controversy though, because I just found Saga 2 weeks
and,
ago.
And more recently, they had one of the royalty getting a Hummer.
Yes.
And some of their, I think it was iTunes, took it off.
Really?
They eventually brought it back when,
everybody
saner heads went, so you did this, why?
And you
can sell movies.
Well, not even that. Deadpool kills 150 people graphically in his latest issue. Oh, we'll give you that on sale, children. No worries. But there's a penis. There's a robot-headed royalty.
You don't actually see penis.
No, I'm talking about the sex planet. You do see penis.
You do see penis now, yeah.
And and I remember when that issue came out. Again, people were like,
really?
So it's had enough.
Once we started mentioning penis, Derek started turning around and paying attention.
I've heard the word penis 60 times in the last 3 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Penis.
What big comic
Penis,
is this?
obviously.
One of the best
This
comics.
planet, there is lots of penis, Derek.
Derek's writing it down.
Yeah.
S-A or E? A-G-A.
But no, it's definitely one of my favorites to come out recently. The Wake being another one that I've really been enjoying. Worth wait. At this point, I'd say wait for the trade. Mm-hmm. Get it all in one because it's limited.
Find all, I think 3 issues are out now.
Yeah,
Trade's the best way to read Saga too.
Oh yeah,
I think you need to read that fast. For sure.
Well, it's a fine one.
Yeah. Hawkeye was the other one I just picked up in trade. The first two
new fraction, Matt Fraction one. Oh my God,
so good!
How can you take a D-list character like that? Like he was always like, why the hell is this guy on the Avengers? Yeah. And turn him into something that I actually want to read month by month.
And one of the most or least interesting young Avengers at the same time. He brings in the female Hawkeye, whose name I'm completely blanking on at the moment. But anyway, what a great character he's got out of her as well. It's a great book.
Well, it shows what a good writer can do, even with any character really.
Yeah.
But
if you're enjoying that and you're a Spider-Man fan, you should read The Superior Foes of
I
Spider-Man.
just picked it up. Yeah. And I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Next time.
I'm really digging that book.
Yeah, I'm everything Spider-Man right now. We talked about last time.
Well,
I
I know.
On
It's
the
just-
cast with you guys. Just still loving it. Like, finally
Even
caught
Scarlet
up.
Spider and Venom.
No, yeah?
Just these series have no right to be as good as they are right now. It's
it's a good time to be a Spidey fan.
well, except for the whole Doc Ock thing.
Oh, is that
Still?
still?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, are you
I'm fine with it,
still?
though.
I
love
thought
it.
you
No,
liked
know.
it.
I love it.
I do, but I'm angry at the same time. I'm angry because it's so fucking good.
Oh, okay. There's the truth.
It's not
is
fair. It
really
should be
good.
Peter
It
who's
should
good.
be terrible.
Yeah,
This
no.
book should be
It is
horrible.
it's the first time
It
in a
is
while
really
that
good.
Parker's actually evolved as a character by being replaced by another person, but still, it's evolution of mutation.
Shut up. It's not
Oh,
That's a,
he'll
Charlie's
be
gonna
back
figure it out.
before the
Charlie's
next
He
gonna
movie.
figure it
wasn't
out.
actually. It's not actually Peter Parker who was replaced. It's a Skrull who's had.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
They're not dead. It's a
Oh,
Skrull
Peter
who's
Parker
had
was on
brain
vacation
damage.
the entire time. It was a Skrull with brain damage that he mind wiped and
Convinced.
planted as Spider-Man so that he could take a few-month vacation. Doc Ock comes in and replaces him, so Spider-Man will come back and just be like, "What the fuck?"
So we don't have to read it now. Thanks.
I think it'll be more of, gets into the apartment and, hey, cool, I get a doctorate.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan Slott is going to take my idea now. It's just, like, that'll be it.
Yeah. As soon as this podcast is up, you're ruined.
No, but I on Spider-Man, just bragging to you, I made some interesting acquisitions over the
Oh,
summer.
yes?
I finally got 121.
Refresh the memories. 121, what's the cover?
Or sorry, no, I already had 121, 122. So 121 is the death of Gwen Stacy.
Right, yeah.
I finally got the death of the Green Goblin. I picked up 91, which is the death of Captain Stacy. I have a death of the Stacy thing going
bit
on.
of a downer summer so far.
But I also picked up the first Rhino.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, I think it's 49 or 51, one of those two. But
Wow, that's
and
a
of
neat
course and I also picked up issue 50, which is Spider-Man No
Yeah.
More, the one where he's walking away
Yeah,
from. So
fantastic
I'm
cover.
just bragging right now. But I
Did
know
you get those local, or were you...
No, I picked him up in St. John.
Right. Oh, that's an interesting place to
Yeah.
find some good
Oh,
titles.
Alex did very well.
Yeah.
I did. But no, I was really pumped to find those, and I don't know. I wanted to mention it to a fellow Spider-Man.
Yeah, make me jealous.
And make you a little sad, maybe. So anyway,
I haven't looked in a back issue bin, man, for years now.
I try not to too often because it's painful. There's so many things I want.
I lose half a day. Just look up, it's like, oh man, it's 6 o'clock already.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
But just 5 more minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Please, really, honey, just 5 more minutes. I haven't gone through this row and half of this row, and I'm done. Really done, honestly,
Promise.
this time.
That's why I don't go to comic shops with my wife.
Yes.
We will go to comic shops together, but if I'm actually planning on doing back issue hunting, I'm just like,
no.
I've got to go to the comic store. Oh, I should come. No,
It's
no,
all right.
no. I've got it.
I'm not leaving when you're ready to go. I'm leaving when I'm ready to go.
That's a dangerous statement.
Yes.
No, that's why she can't come.
Yes.
She can't.
And that's why you're married and you're not.
GTA
5
came out yesterday.
Yep.
And of course, there's been a massive rise in the amount of people who've called in sick for work over the past couple of days. Any of you guys?
No.
No, I'm not a huge fan of the whole GTA franchise in general. I mean, I'll play them because they're good, mindless entertainment. But I usually forget what mission I'm on, and
That's my problem with Fallout.
yeah, I mean, it's a Fallout. You got a Pip-Boy.
one really funny thing with GTA was on the release day, on Steam, I guess Saints Row the 4th released a free DLC, which was called GAT 5 with a V. So
that's funny.
Instead
that's
of GTA
brilliant.
5, it was GAT 5, but it was a free DLC for Saints Row the 4th.
And the internet slowed down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
everybody kind of like, wait, what? Oh man, that's one of the reasons why I think Saints Row is my favorite open world, just fucked up game, because they don't give a shit. They just keep fucking around.
Well, there's going to be Grand Theft Auto Online come October 1st. I don't know. I get the stress relief and stuff that people talk about with it. I just find them boring.
For the most part, like, yeah, you tool around in these games for a couple of hours, and then, yeah, tooling around gets boring. But the missions are actually usually pretty fun.
Yeah. They're a little too big for me. The last open world that I would have played was Red Dead Redemption, which is a great game.
It is.
But it just took up so much of my time. So I've kind of parceled off my video games. Like Injustice was fantastic because it's just a fighting game. It's like playing Mortal Kombat when we were teenagers, right? And stuff like that. But then it's much more like The Walking Dead. The 5-part series was perfect for me because it's all more linear than any of these GTAs or whatever.
So is there a market for, say, video games that you play out beginning to end in like 5 or 6 hours?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you could do just a series of the same thing where you play out your...
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead
Practically
was like that.
what Steam is for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
There's
short games,
tons of them.
making them like $5-10,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or even $20. If it's a 10-hour game, I'd pay $20.
If there's a
for
decent
10-hour
license attached to it, $20, I wouldn't even blink.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, Portal.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of them.
Like the Orange Box. I mean, yeah, you had Half-Life, but you had Portal on there,
Yeah.
which, that game you could just play through relatively quickly. And I mean, I don't know how much it is on Steam, but it's not that expensive.
And it'll be on sale every other day.
Yeah. Yeah, Portal for sure.
Nothing's going to tear you away from Mechwarrior, though.
They just went to full release on the 17th as well, so... Mechwarrior ate my soul. Just forget about me. I'm going to go stomp other robots into dirt.
Okay. Gavin, you'll be guest hosting permanently.
That's fair.
Okay.
I like giant robots too, though.
Yeah, and it's a sweet game. Like
Bill, you'll be guest hosting permanently.
The safety for me there is, of course, that I don't do much online gaming.
Right.
So while it does look terribly good fun, I just...
Can you imagine having the speakers on when all those 13-year-olds start playing GTA 5 online? It's going to be just absolutely
I can't drive,
disgusting.
and my mother's a whore? Fantastic!
You slept with my mother where?
I'm just saying, like, if I had the option of finding out who said that, I would go Jay and Silent Bob on some people.
I wish that more parents gave a shit.
It got them off there.
Yeah, really though.
Shouldn't be there in the first place.
And then they say, well, it's a game. Games are for kids.
And
No.
that's not an excuse. Parents that have, if you've got a 10 to 13-year-old, you can't be much older than, let's say, 55, right? Kids late at 45 or whatever. You know what video games are. Fucking video games have been around forever.
Uh-huh.
If you don't know what video games are at this point, maybe you don't need to have kids. You know what I mean? Like,
It's impressive you did if you're that into video games. A research guy, when did the first GTA come out? He'll get back to us on that.
Yeah.
I'm just idly curious because I think that's an interesting point because the original GTA was certainly less
even stuff before
sociopathic
that,
than the
though.
later
Yeah,
ones.
but still, I mean,
you knew, like, Smash TV for friggin' the original NES. Like,
I see your Smash TV for the original, and I raise you Double Dragon for the arcade.
it's all violent. I mean, the story's
Literally
been
the
going
opening
forever.
scene was a bunch of guys walking up and slugging a girl in the abdomen and carrying her off.
That's true. Yes. fucking Princess Peach, man.
So that's the forerunner to GTA. We found it.
We pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
1997.
97.
Yeah, I remember playing the first one, and I was totally disappointed because on the cover, it had like a bunch of crazy shit happening. And a friend was telling me about this game where like, yeah, you can totally like hijack an ambulance, and when you do that, you push the gurney out of the back. And I was like, holy shit, this sounds amazing. Oh, I was grade 7. Yeah. Holy shit, this sounds amazing! And played the shit out of it. But at first I was really disappointed because it was just like, oh, okay, I'm playing Dinky Cars Extreme on the computer.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
How can you be disappointed at that?
Okay, yeah, it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember laughing in mad glee as I stole the choir bus. With the...
Or you found a tank, and you're just like,
yes.
It did lose a little bit of its magic in the later games when you found a tank and you...
Well, I really did think that was an attempt to put Car Wars into a video game. Because you had that top-down look. It reminded me a lot like playing Car Wars.
So why don't I have a Car Wars video game by now?
Huh?
I would play that.
Maybe Steve Jackson won't license it.
Steve, buddy, we played Munchkin together. License that shit. You'll make cash.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that. Because that would tear me away from Mechwarrior. Because the only thing I like as much as blowing other mechs up is machine guns on the front.
I'll go online. I'll buy the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
Can I get a bobblehead with that?
Probably.
Excellent. Because he's kickstartering Ogre. Come on.
Yeah, but I don't know. Going back to these parents who are freaking out about these games.
Yeah.
I mean, they think that games are for kids, and that is a misguided statement. Especially considering kids don't have money. Why would they be marketing it? You know, I understand it is marketed toward kids a little bit, some of these games, but it is a game about being a criminal. It's called Grand Theft Auto.
I want to play Grand Theft Auto.
I don't think
buy it for me now.
But it's supposed to be for adults.
But I don't think it's marketed towards kids.
No, you're right.
I think it's marketed towards us.
Yes.
And the problem is that the way to get to us is to talk to us like we're kids.
It is true.
And I am fully willing to admit that.
Hey, grown-ups.
You put SpiderMan in your commercial, and I'm going to fucking buy your game. Right? So.
But I mean, yeah, Spider-Man. Let's go back to comic books. The same argument can be made for comic books that comics are for kids.
No,
they're not, though.
That is
you're right.
Quantifiably untrue.
Spider-Man beating the shit out of people, like, brutally.
I see your Spider-Man and I raise you cross. Because you're going to beat me over the head.
Mandatory cross reference.
No, we don't.
I'm
not proud of it.
Did you see the picture? I was at the booth and I met Garth Ennis. I have a picture of Garth holding up crossed, and I sent a letter to. I sent the.
Where would I have seen this picture?
Yeah, you wouldn't have seen this picture. But anyway, I grabbed a picture of him holding up and sent the message to him. It says Garth Ennis says "fuck you."
Well, it's like they had like Crossed Day, where they were the graphic novels on sale, and the new comic deal, and they had dollar copies of the first issue reprints.
I'm realizing this is
masks
a really
so you could wear
easy
easiest Halloween costume ever.
You just need some red pencil and swear like a sailor and
stick a baby to your crotch.
Yeah. Just go around taking a bite out of a little
It's
dog.
a horrible book. I don't know why I brought it up that first time, and I definitely don't know why we talk about it every time. Every fucking week.
It's like staring into the sun.
It's like a car accident.
Yeah. You can't stop doing it. You know it's wrong.
Don't read Cross.
But Gavin brings up a good point. I hadn't really thought of this before. I think it would be more acceptable if the media, if CNN was doing stories. Why the hell are we letting kids read comics as opposed to why are we letting them play video games almost? Like, I think that the video games that adults should know. They've been around long enough, like I said.
There's a clearly worded rating system on the cover.
How about instead
of everything?
Why do we let kids read comic books? It should be
why are we letting people have children?
Why do these fucking morons let their kids read these comics?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, I agree.
I'd love to see that in the CNN.
But CNN isn't doing the story. Why are these mothers and fathers letting their kid buy GTA 5?
Fathers are
exactly. So I agree with you. Yeah. It's equal footing for sure.
Although somebody on Reddit was telling a story about how somebody came in to buy GTA 5, and they said, "Yeah, can I buy GTA 5?" And he says, "Can I see some ID?" And the kid says, "Oh, that's right. I'm not allowed to buy that. Okay, I'll just buy a $60 PSN card then." So the kid's just gonna go home and fucking buy it. However he wants.
Because the mother or father didn't come and put the security settings on his Xbox when he set it up.
Yeah, like that's their perception of it. You're gonna play Super Mario on that, Jimmy? It's fuck.
But be in the same. I don't even accept that because be in the same room at least once while your kids are playing this game, and you're gonna know. Holy shit! They should not be playing this game.
Or for this one, if you overhear it,
exactly.
For 10 minutes,
exactly,
you'll hear more N-bombs and cunts than any other game you've ever played or any movie you've watched.
I've never listened to a cunt before. I'm sorry. Holding my,
I hear the ocean.
I'm sorry, man.
But no, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I've got a 10-year-old playing a game and I hear one cunt, one person saying, okay, I'm going to say one person saying cunt, I'm probably going to take the disc away from him.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
It's not really monitoring.
But media-wise, you're much more switched on than a lot of people.
That's true. If my son comes home when he's 10 or 11 years old with Grand Theft Auto 12 and I see it, I'm going to take it from him.
Yes.
Yeah, and play it myself.
Well, obviously. You can have this back when you're older.
Yeah.
And I've beaten it.
I don't know.
Like when when I was a kid, you were always getting into your dad's porn mags, but your kid's going to be going through your cross trades.
Oh, God. I have one.
You better keep that sucker well hidden, man, because... Hey, Dad, why is they pulling the kid apart?
Here's a really good story, actually, that illustrates that my parents kind of had their shit together. Okay, so when I was a kid, comics were still largely seen as for kids.
Yes.
So I go to a flea market, and I buy this horror comic book. Okay, so it has in it a couple of naked women being, like, chained up in hell, and they're being beaten. Okay? I bought it because it had a cool cover. So I bring it home, and my parents, they do it. They see the cover and they say, well, this looks kind of dark. I'm going to take a look through it. They saw that and they took it away from me. Like,
that's what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pissed
off. It piqued your interest, and later in a couple years down the road, you're going to look at that stuff again. You're going to go looking for it, and you're going to remember it. And you found fucking Garth Ennis and Cross. Yes.
Why haven't you taken this from me, Mom and Dad?
My mom would take that from me.
Well, my dad was never a big fan of the superheroes and all that, but I know he read all of my Nom comics.
Yeah.
For what's worth, though, like he was mentioning how they would have to flip through a comic. With the ratings on games, you don't even have to flip. You don't have to play it
right there.
You don't have to. You don't have to load it up. You just have to look at the thing and read what's in it, and then
not even that.
One of the women I work with she's like, well, her son, is quite young, and she's like, oh, well, I let him play Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. You're like, well, driving right past that. Okay, your kid. I really have no, but that's a little violent. It's a mature title. Are you sure that's okay? She's, oh yeah, it's just it's violent. It's violent, but it's not
war.
that bad.
It's headshots.
I'm like, oh well, whatever. And then later, she's like, well, what about this game? I think it was Last of Us. And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, why? Well, it's an adult. It's mature audience. And she's like, well, he plays Call of Duty. He's like, whoa, no. Yeah. You got to read more than just the M.
Yeah, it's a way too mature story. And the whole M on the thing. The other thing too, if your kid comes up to you and says, I want to get Gobbledygook 6, something you've never heard of. Everyone has a fucking computer in their pocket right now.
Oh, God.
Search it. Just do a Google search.
Go to YouTube.
No, son, you're not getting that.
Go to YouTube and watch them play it.
Like, it's right in your pocket.
Or, I mean, most game stores now have a policy. Go up to them and say, hey, what's this game like?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, and you can say, well, I'm thinking of buying this for my 10-year-old.
There's no excuse. I don't get it at all, and I don't understand why CNN type outlets decide to do the story.
It's because
to get behind these parents.
Parents don't want to feel like they're bad parents for doing what makes their lives easier. Because if they don't go and buy GTA 5 for their kid, that means they're one of a couple of kids who didn't get GTA 5 from that. I understand this. I was one of those couple of kids who didn't get whatever the hot thing was, and it was kind of questionable. Or
I hear what you're saying. That's a great point. Everybody wants their kid to have 100 friends and to be fit into the party.
Are actually ostracized if you don't.
That's a really good point.
It is.
I still don't think the kid should.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that that's a reason.
But it's a reason to turn around and blame the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's
like, it's one thing if you're just being that type of parent that's trying to be accommodating to your kid, whatever, and own up to it. Well, all the other kids are playing it, and then you can totally throw if all the other kids were jumping off a bridge. Would you tell your kid?
You off as well.
Okay, here's a question.
I've often wondered about that line of logic. Because why do they jump? What do they know that I don't? Maybe death is better.
Or maybe it's really fun and there's some big pool of water under there.
Than not having GTA 5.
Wow, dude.
So here's the question. What's the equivalent? I think we were all probably born in the 70s?
86, dude.
80, oh, man, not even close.
Get off my lawn.
What did our parents do that they should have known better in this kind of way? No seatbelts? It wasn't
when I was 4, my dad.
You always had to wear a seatbelt since you were born? Fuck, you're young, man.
My dad said when I was 4, I used to stand up on the front seat of the car with my hands on the dashboard, leaning against the windshield, bouncing up and down, going, danger, 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 danger. And he said, he swore to God, he said, I thought about ramming that car into a tree more than one occasion, kid.
Funny.
So that's good stuff. It's not a lie. That is a legit.
But you know what I mean? Like every generation of parents does something kind of shitty.
Well,
you know what I mean?
My mom.
It's weird that this is the one.
My mom built this really intricate backyard full of stuff and made a gate and then locked me in there. And apparently, I screamed for 3 hours straight at the gate. Wouldn't go back until she opened that gate. Took me out, put me back in there, left the gate open. I was fine.
You just wanted to have the
I just want my freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
No, for me it was probably actually being allowed to see some pretty violent movies.
Yeah, I saw horror movies way too young as well.
I saw Terminator 2 when I was, I think, 5.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not the worst.
But that still happens today too, like... You know,
it does.
At Pacific Rim or whatever, you see you're at a 10 o'clock show and there's a 3-year-old.
Or fucking The Dark Knight Rises.
Or Wolverine. There was kids when I went to see that were 5 years old, and it's so that still happens too, for sure.
Well, I expect that we're going to be hearing a lot about that with the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
There's a talking raccoon.
Yes, it must be okay. It's a talking raccoon.
That's a good point.
Who says, fuck you, you little shit?
Yeah, Tourette's.
Yeah, but I doubt they're going to show that in the trailer.
The Bradley Cooper Tourette's raccoon is going to be awesome.
Come see Guardians of the Galaxy, you little fuckers.
Red Band trailer right there. And I ain't no stinking raccoon, see? That's going to be fucking awesome.
I really hope it is.
I think it'll be good, but I don't know if it'll get... it's just so off of the main titles. If this succeeds,
they'll do anything.
They can get away with anything. If this
Defenders
actually... the Defenders, they could do Alpha Flight, they could do any team. If they can pull off Guardians of the Galaxy... They can do New Mutants. They can do anything.
New Mutants would be interesting. I can see it more as a TV series, but
I would love.
I'd watch that. Watch the hell out of that.
Yeah.
How about Metal Men? Try and make a Metal Men movie.
They're not Marvel though.
Oh, they're DC. You're
they're
right.
DC.
Rom the Space Knight.
Can we see a Rom the Space Knight movie?
I loved Rom the Space Knight.
Oh my god, I'm learning so much more about you. I'm sorry.
I just really liked the toy when I was a kid.
That really was an excellent toy.
It was an amazing...
It's like Silverhawks. Those are some badass toys, man.
Yeah.
Does anybody else remember New Universe Marvel Comics?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
but I'm older than you.
No, I know. But somebody brought in a bucket load of comics. It was actually a bucket load of comics. That was the best part.
Literal bucket load.
A horrible way to transport comics, listener.
Well, I didn't say that. But he had me look through them, and you do it
once
because,
your eyes stop twitching.
Whatever. And once your nose gets acclimatized to the mildew.
No.
I know. But he had it was almost all New Universe. And do you remember Kickers Inc?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
What era are we talking here?
This
80s.
is
Late
late
80s.
80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
There was Merc. Was another big one. What were some of the others? I don't know. But anyway, that was just something that kind of flew into my mind today. I don't know why.
Like
That was... I think that was something else.
Yeah.
Man, grew up in a tiny little town without a comic shop. I missed all of that.
You weren't missing.
I don't remember any of that.
It was like...
I've seen Mech in the back issue stuff.
It was like Marvel trying to do Ultimates.
Right.
Before
Marvel
in
Knights
the early
and
90s,
stuff
late
like
80s.
that.
Yeah.
Before they could kill anybody brutally.
Yeah, it sounds like thankfully I missed that.
It was still Comic Code approved. That was the thing. They were trying to get around it, but they still went for the Comic Code. It wasn't until really Vertigo that it became okay to make non-Comic Code comics.
Yeah.
Well, they became
Marvel
popular.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel just scrapped the Comics Code in the late 90s, or was it the early 2000s?
It wasn't that
They
long,
they just said, nope, and then they started putting their own ratings on it.
It's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this?
Yeah, we don't have to pay you.
Why are we following
$75,000 a year? Yeah.
They say I can't show Spider-Man punching a gun out of somebody's hand. What? This doesn't make any sense.
Isn't that the kind of thing Spider-Man should want to do?
No.
But it shows a gun, and guns are bad.
That's right.
Okay. I don't know what the actual rules were, but it was just stupid shit like that. Much like the MPAA.
Well, I remember one of the rules that always flummoxed me about Comic Code was if you committed a crime, you had to be shown to be punished. Which is why a lot of the villains from that time period were after world domination. Because it's not technically illegal.
That's a good point.
World domination is not illegal.
It's not really on the books.
World domination is not a crime.
A lot of what you're going to do to get there might be.
Yeah.
But so that was the dodge they used for a lot of, say,
I refuse to believe there's no international law on the books saying no attempts at world domination. I'm looking at you, Adolf.
They'll get you for other stuff.
Yeah, on the way up. That's a neat fact.
You can take over the world as long as you're really nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
do it really
so
fast.
the Canada method.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I'm really sorry about this, but could you get in this cage?
You considered adopting our economy.
I'm not saying you're less than human, but I have a hamster wheel for you. Fuck. And little water dish.
With our new voting system, you get 3/5 of a vote.
Well, that's pretty much just if you vote NDP or Liberal. At this point. Yeah.
The Harper system.
Yes.
Oh man.
So, since I've got you all here, what's the kind of fandom that has been getting up your nose as of late?
Yes, this is something we've been talking about for a while.
Well, it was almost the beginning of the podcast.
But the idea that there are fandoms that you just cannot
get behind.
You just don't understand it.
Just leave you shaking your head.
Well, you go, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. Why?
Yeah.
Was there one in particular when you guys started this topic? Where did it begin?
Began with bronies, bronies, furry, and furries.
Yeah, I feel we could all agree on the bronies.
They're harmless.
They are
hurting.
I don't know if they're harmless. I don't know if I'm willing to believe that yet. There might be
they're a global conspiracy.
Yeah, any group of people, you're going to run into some that should maybe
have
be
some
locked
wires
up.
Crossed.
Yeah.
Brony extremists.
Brony supremacists.
But I figure they're not hurting anyone.
What are the little tattoos that My Little Ponies have?
Cutie marks.
Cutie mark.
Oh,
Why you know that? That was a test, you son of a bitch.
You failed.
No,
I work with a brony. He's talked at length, and as you probably all know about me, I tend to memorize things anybody says.
You poor soul.
I know, right?
So, have you ever asked him why?
He just likes it. I think it's just a matter of innocence. Like, we are just inflicted.
Old and bitter?
There's so much bad that we deal with. Like, the video games we play, the music we listen to, the news. And this is just kind of like innocence. This is
why
sweet
My Little
happiness.
Pony?
A lot of us saw it as kids, and the My Little Ponies Friendship is Magic is
it's
surprisingly
not
witty.
Yeah. I was thinking like Adventure Time or something, but that's actually quite acerbic.
On our magazine, our online magazine, we have a guy who does weekly reviews, and he reviewed the first 3 issues of the My Little Pony comic.
Right.
He's like, it was a review of My Little Pony issue number 1, or How I Learned to Hate Myself. And basically he said it was a good, solid comic, and he couldn't believe he was saying this, but he enjoyed reading it. So
when you see reviews of the cartoons, they say the same thing, that they're really, really well made, that the stories are bang on, but the art's great, and
like I can understand watching it, and I can understand enjoying it, and I can understand it. But when you start going to like Toys R Us in big groups of other bronies, and like buying all the My Little Pony memorabilia you can get your hands on, that's where it starts to slip away from me.
And was it just an 80s franchise in the right place at the right time? Like,
absolutely.
If 5 years ago, if a great Strawberry Shortcake cartoon had come out, would everybody be like,
we missed our chance,
or whatever, you know?
Actually, it's sort of happening.
Yeah, there's already been a Strawberry Shortcake cartoon.
Depressing.
You're so behind, man.
I know.
Penny Arcade got in a fair amount of trouble for it, because just before that one came up, they had one of their punchlines being a very slutty Strawberry Shortcake. And if you don't read Penny Arcade, I highly recommend it.
Oh, no, of course. Everybody should read Penny Arcade. No doubt. So what other... Gavin, you brought it up. What other fandom?
I'm actually pretty easygoing fandom-wise. I figure as long as you love it, you're not hurting anyone, have at it. But I don't get Doctor Who.
Oh, dude. Okay.
I've never made it through an entire episode.
For those of you listening at home, it should be noted that Bill just sat straight up in his chair.
Straight up and crossed his legs.
I have nothing against it per se. I just don't understand the love.
I can tell you why I love it. And that's because I grew up at a time where there was original Star Trek and Doctor Who for sci-fi on television.
Well, you're too good to watch Space 1999?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And the
V?
time...
Oh,
Space 1999 didn't come out till 1970 or 1979, and I am talking about those magical years.
7?
Yes. 6. I remember a lot. I remember Star Wars, dude, in the theater. It had a big impact on my brain.
Yeah, Empire for me, but...
Yeah.
Doctor Who... Here's it's such a big topic for me because I love British television. Absolutely love British television.
So do I.
And there's something about British television, there's something about British comedy where it's extremely self-deprecating, and it's also very... Innocent's not the right word, but it's not as acid tongue as what we do in America. It's not as, you know, it's not Chris Rock, it's not Doug Stanhope type shit where it's just like everybody else is wrong and I'm the only person that's right.
Okay, now Chris Rock was the Doctor, I'd be down.
Yes. But the BBC and British television have this kind of sensibility in their humor, and the way that Doctor Who takes very little money and understands that everybody is in on this joke is just amazing. Now, I mean, I work in the business. I work in radio mostly.
That's it.
But
I just don't get the joke.
No, it's not that you don't get the joke. It's not that you don't get anything. It's the reason that I love it. The reason that I love it is what I'm trying to explain. Okay. Is that the characters, you never know what's going to happen with these characters, and there's this diversity, like female cops, female lawyers, black, Indian. It's not as homogenous as American television is to begin with, and the characters are all just so interesting, and they just seem like real people because they don't have to have James Spader leading the way or William Shatner as his sidekick type thing. They make these lesser known actors the characters, and you just get so into it because the universe is so huge that they've developed, right? And anything that Stephen Moffat touches, the writer guy that did Sherlock and stuff like that, he's just got this sense. He's like the British Joss Whedon. You just feel that he knows this story so much bigger than we're seeing so far. Like the fact, you're a Doctor Who fan, so I just watched the episode Silence in the Library, David Tennant, so the last Doctor.
Yeah.
And the fact that he knew what he wanted to do with this character called River Song. He killed her in her very first episode because he knew in 2 years when he takes over the show, he's going to bring her back. And she's going to know this time-traveling doctor backwards. So we're going to see her again. And every time she sees him, she's going to know him a little less. And he's going to get to know her a little more. That is fucking brilliant. The fact that he knew that he was going to do this storyline and he had it all planned out. This thing took 7 years to run out, and it's just now starting to wrap up. The detail that they put into that show and the love that everybody has for that show, that's why I absolutely love Doctor Who.
All right, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
You've put a lot of thought
That's my
into
geek
this.
versus nerd topic. Right there. For sure. But if you're willing to give it a chance, you start with the new guy. You start with Matt Smith because the writing on it is so damn good.
I say I've never made it to the first commercial break.
Yeah? No, I don't. I'm just big on it. But British TV in general, too. Like Sherlock, Luther, all of that stuff. I just started watching Wallander with Kenneth Branagh. Like, all that stuff. There's something about British TV that I just don't get from what we're getting in North America right now. Commercial breaks for one thing.
My mom was British, so I got a lot of British TV when I was growing up, and I like a lot of the British procedurals. You actually can get them a lot off of online, different live TV that goes up. But the British procedurals, you don't get procedurals in North America the way you get British procedurals. You know, you've got like the procedural for the people in Northumberland County. You know, there's like, it's all farms and somebody's murdered every week in this place. If the TV is something to go by, Britain's a really, really, really dangerous place to live because
it's always raining and it's dark.
It's always raining and
everyone's
3 or 4
grumpy.
people, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're in the Midlands or the south of England or the north of England. Once a week, people are being murdered, and these geniuses are.
Well, here's a recommendation for you that wraps British TV in with Doctor Who. A show called Broadchurch that just aired on, I think, BBC 2 5-6 months ago, and it just came to Canada on Space or Showcase or whatever. But it stars David Tennant, the Doctor from a few years ago. 6 episodes, little 6-episode series, and he's a cop. You know, he's been torn down in his one job, so he goes to this small town. They have their first murder in like 40 years or whatever. It is the saddest television I have ever watched. That is such a weird.
Well, then I'll be sure to.
It's such a weird adjective to put on
well
it.
Written.
Like, you watched it,
get sucked in, yeah.
Loved it. It is so, you just feel for every single character, and they all look like normal people. Like, there's no beautiful Hollywood actor-y type stuff, and you really get into it.
Yeah, I think that's more about, but that's British television. That's not the Doctor.
No, but it's David. The reason I went to it, of course, was David Tennant, right? Yeah. And I actually have to admit, I had DVR'd it and watched it. I had to rewind it so much because his Scottish accent is so thick in this show that it took me forever sometimes to figure out what he was saying. But Broadchurch, highly, highly recommend it for sure.
Cool.
Fandoms.
Yeah, what other fandoms?
Oh, I've got one. Yeah. Juggalos. I do not understand juggalos. And it was back in the news here in Halifax the other day. Because the guy who stole the parrot was wearing a juggalo sweater, right? These are the crazy face painty insane clown posse guys.
But in all seriousness, magnets. What do they mean? Or how do they work?
Science, bitch. That's the one that I can't. I mean, it just seems like they're kind of like a gang. They're kind of violent and they drink a lot.
Have you ever seen? There was a 20-minute documentary that somebody filmed at their big gathering once a year. Yeah, did you see it?
I don't think I've seen it.
No?
That's a creative title. Gathering of Juggalos.
Yeah. I watched the whole thing, and it was interesting.
How so?
Well, I mean, there's no other way to say this. They seem like such normal people. Like, underneath it all, like, they're obviously, and I'm generalizing here, so, we'll get an angry message from a juggalo. But they seem to be very, very welcoming. They're definitely in love with what they love.
Yeah. As are bronies.
Yes, yes. As are SpiderMan fans.
Yeah.
I mean,
Juggalos. I can defend Juggalos a little bit. I'm
Okay.
still in your mic for a second. The idea behind them is, they're the ones that were excluded from things as in school. They were the outcasts. They were the ones that were treated like shit. So this is their version. They call it a family. It's their family, like where the leaders are Shaggy, Two Dope, and Violent J, the Insane Clown Posse.
Like, you know their names.
Oh yeah, no. I used to listen to Insane Clown Posse. I wasn't quite a juggalo, but like
I remember they used to be on stage with Kid Rock. That's about all I know about them.
If you listen to a real interview with them, they're just two dudes that want to give outcasts a group that they feel comfortable with. Not very violent. You hear violence from them.
Well,
they're really not violent people. Yeah. It's all like
I definitely generalize there. That's just as bad as what they do about GTA 5. So
they steal parrots.
They do steal parrots.
But like one of their main things that they say is much clown love, which is it's weird because you don't know it because it's like a family. It's very brony like, where like you.
The insane clown bronies.
That'll be a great reality show. Yeah,
you can look at them from the outside and go, that's weird as fuck. But like you can do that with someone could be looking through the window right now and go, those guys are weird as fuck.
Yeah,
all right?
It's true.
And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Yeah,
that's exactly it. It's like it's not our thing, but it's somebody's thing. So I don't know.
But I mean, that's the whole point of this. I mean, it's stuff that we don't get. And in the conversation that I was originally having with you, PigMonkey, we were talking about so it's stuff we don't understand, but that as is human nature, that melds into this hostility and it becomes us versus them. I mean, we're all nerds, so we've all been picked on for what we love, and
not me.
No. Fuck off. Yeah. You play that stupid GTA 5?
You like MacGruber, man. I remember that from last time I was here.
That's true. He says.
Owned. So, but it's interesting that we and I'm not saying anyone in here does it, and I'm not saying that we'll do it now, but
furries, man.
People do.
I fucking don't understand furries.
We make fun of people. I don't know. We're all.
Well,
furries,
I think this came up a couple of about a month and a half ago with the gay community and gay pride in Toronto having real issues with people who were trans. And they were excluding trans from the gay pride parade because they're not gay. And I think that you get people if you get enough people who've been shit upon for a long period of time, you're going to get a lot of them who just want to push that shit downhill. And you're going to get that. Now, are
you putting that up against geek culture?
Yeah, and it happens in geek culture as well. Like, I'm just saying, if you have geek culture, you have the people, for instance, you have Saints Row and you have GTA 5. You're going to have a lot of people, and you're going to spark a lot of debate, and people are going to put somebody above somebody else because...
Isn't that kind of your thing, though?
He would never put a geek versus a nerd.
Well, it's not the same. It's not the same kind of social ostracism that takes place.
No, because geeks versus nerds, one of the rules is you don't attack your opponents.
That's true.
You attack the
candidates.
Yeah, you attack the topic. Whereas, this often very easily turns into, like, of course a loser like you would like Mechwarrior, Andrew.
Yeah, and that would get you thrown off the stage pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
But I think there's two avenues here. The not understanding the fandoms of bronies or Doctor Who or Juggalos compared to the hatred of, I don't know, like the nouveau geek, if you will, like the
pretenders,
the pretenders.
The people
it's like,
who've
I
come
saw,
along and said,
I've seen all three Iron
I
Mans.
always have been a geek.
Well, and like coming in and
that's the one that gets my under my skin.
My big thing was always like I saw this is like on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
See, that's my new tagline for Geeks versus Nerds.
No, fuck off.
Geeks versus Nerds. It's like the Big Bang Theory. It's only for geeks.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, or geeks. Yeah,
It's like
but okay. I won't say the Big Bang Theory is never funny, but I mean the show itself, it's designed so that you associate with Penny. Like it's not supposed
nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, but it's not designed to be for nerds. It's designed to be for everybody who knows a nerd.
Yeah,
like that's like my brother-in-law.
Yeah,
he's totally like that. He has statues. Guys, did you know he has statues?
He has toys.
That's
yeah, toys. They're not statues.
He has all these toys,
action
in his
figures.
They're collectibles. I don't know. That's probably not
but yeah, that's it. It's the nouveau geek that only knows the top layer. That saw all three Iron Man movies, so thinks that Mandarin is an actor kind of thing, But us, I think everybody in this room would say that we've earned our badge. We've learnt it.
Well, I've had
for decades.
I don't think you get to be a geek without having it beaten into you in high school, right? If you haven't taken a punch for being a geek, then you don't in high school.
But that doesn't happen anymore.
I don't in high school. I don't know because the puberty fairy was kind. It was junior high where I had to hurt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Ontario. High school starts
later,
starts at grade 9.
Like, I think that people can become geeks, can be geeks without having that beatdown. And what I'm excited about is when people see those three Iron Man movies and say, what else? Like, I'm really enjoying this. What else can I get into? So that's awesome. But yeah, where it just stays I'm such a geek. I saw Avengers the week after it opened. It's hey, you enjoyed it and you saw it. That's great. But that doesn't make you a geek.
No.
Real geeks tented in line for 3 days before the movie came
and
out.
Gasped when you saw Thanos on this
purple guy.
What? Who's that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Shut up! You're such an embarrassment.
I think my worst one for that because the week that I think Attack of the Clones came out, we decided we were going to go see the SpiderMan movie. Because there was no fucking way we were getting an Attack of the Clones opening weekend. So we're walking up there, and we figured the theater would be mostly deserted because everyone's going to see clones. It's fun. And I see a bunch of people in line, their Jedi robes, waving their lightsabers around, and having a heck of a time. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And then they start calling my name and waving. Because they're my friends. It's like, oh dear.
I can't.
And it wasn't hurting anyone. They're having a great time. No. It's all good. But I've never understood dressing up in a costume to go see a movie.
Yeah, no. Me neither.
Cosplay?
People put a lot of work into it.
Oh, man.
It's obviously a thing. But heroes of cosplay don't get it.
I can understand people dressing up for a movie. I can understand people dressing up for a movie because you're dressing up to kind of be with your people.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the party that you're with. Yeah. Whereas I see a lot of these movies by myself.
Even if you go alone, even if you go alone, you can dress up and see another guy who's dressed up and be like, yeah.
So it's like motorcycle riders. Either going down the highway, you always wave to the other motorcycle rider.
But
right.
What
gotcha.
I've never understood, maybe you guys can defend this for me. applause at the end of a movie.
I don't get that either.
No.
People started applauding at the end of Avengers, and I was just, why? What?
At Avengers?
Joss Whedon isn't here.
It actually pisses me off.
No.
I want to stand and go, what the fuck are you doing? It's a screen. The projector dude's up there like, fuck yeah. Soaks it in.
Well, I saw the sneak preview of Riddick a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And about halfway through, there's a mind-bogglingly stupid scene. And the audience just applauding and just like, oh, that was the baddest ass thing ever. Are we watching the same movie?
Yeah, first, why are you applauding? And why are you applauding that?
One, they can't hear you. Two, this is bad. And I wanted to like it. I really did. But,
No.
Rent it. See it on cable.
I'll wait for you to get it, and then I'll watch it at
That's
your
probably
place.
not happening unless I get the 3-pack, the little...
Pitch black
And,
and stuff.
and given that it's you, I'd say the chances are pretty damn good.
As a fan of bad science fiction, I did not love this movie.
Wow. You like Doomsday.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah. Cannibal Scottish guys, souped up cars. What's your problem?
Dr. Julian Bashir is the mayor of London and then shoots himself in the face. What's not to love?
Which is kind of something I've been looking forward to since DS9.
Really? You didn't like
I
Bashir?
loved him. He was the best character on the show.
Well, him and Miles. It was like the first,
that friendship?
like a real bromance.
Yeah.
Like, but not weird.
Yeah. It was like they're playing darts. It's cool.
Yeah.
You like bad sci-fi, but not Doctor Who.
I like them to at least try to make a good effect.
Well, no, it's there.
You gotta go back to the 70s.
For the bad stuff.
For the really bad stuff. You gotta go back to the Tom Baker years, where it's like a guy with a bucket on his head, painted silver. Somebody punched a couple of holes in the bucket. Like, there you go. Here's your...
And thus the Cybermen were born.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Woo, I got one.
I haven't been listening to Main Street a whole lot recently because I haven't been driving home from work. But do you guys have like any geek features? Like, I know that you'll throw things in.
Should have been in the car on the drive over. That's
You've been harassed.
we were just talking about.
I wasn't talking about for us.
No,
I was. I'm sure you were.
No. I wish. I mean, if I had more time in my day, I'd definitely be pushing to be able to do that stuff myself. Yeah, we talked a little GTA 5 yesterday because it was the release day. So we talked to the guy from HB Studios down South Shore there. Just talk about the game and stuff. But as far as not really. There's a pop culture columnist every Friday, but she seems to be steering more towards Hollywoody type stuff lately. But no, it's mostly just my random jokes that I don't think about before I say, and then I realize, shit, like 3 people, Alex and PigMonkey and Gavin got that joke, and that's it.
But we appreciate it.
We feel extra smart because we know we're the only people who got that joke.
I guess if you take nothing else away from this week, read Saga.
Yeah, Saga's the way to go.
Don't read Crossed.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much a standard disclaimer.
Even though we won't shut up about it.
I buy it for the pictures, okay?
That's not better!
Does not justify it.
Oh, wow, I think they've had a simultaneous aneurysm.
Yeah, double facepalm, well done.
That's the end. I'm your host, PigMonkey.
I'm your other host, Alex.
That's the show.